I'm going to tell you a story how one decision caused me to spend 19 years, 7 months, and 10 days in prison. My name is John Lee Hargrove III, and these are my stories. I'm run some stories before I get started. If you like the stories, hit that like button for me. Follow me. Give me some comments. If you like the stories, give me some feedback. Let me know. But first, I want to start off with my first day in jail. Wasn't a happy moment. At now it's kind of funny, but at first it was not funny at all. But my first day hitting the parish, man, all I was thinking about was movies, TV, stories I heard about prison. You know, dudes getting raped, dudes getting beat up, don't drop the soap, all kind of stuff, man. So, my first day hitting the parish, I'm in a holding tank for 24 hours. At the time, I smoked cigarettes. So, I ain't had a cigarette 24 hours. Longer than that. I'm nicking. They finally processed me and moved me to the back. Now, the parish I was at, I was on the new side, East Baton Rouge Parish. The old side got like cells. I was on the new side. It's like an open tier. Like two big cells with a bunch of bunks in it, top and bottom. So they processed me and going to the new side. I'm walking back down, going to Q3 and 4. This was back in 98, the beginning, like in March. Now I'm walking back there, I have all kind of things going through my head, but I'm fresh off the street, so I still got that wildlife mentality in me, so I'm not scared, I'm more anxious. I'm like, hey, I'm here, let's get it on. Whatever happened, happened. One thing, I ain't finna get raped. If I do, it's gonna be a dead corpse. So, and you know, I'm not worried about losing no fight, you know, so I'm not scared to fight. So my first day back there, I walk back there, I'm looking around, and on the tier you have like anywhere from like 80 to 120 guys, you know. Maybe not that many. But it's a big dorm, big tier. So when I first Sarge opened the cell, and I walk in, I'm by myself, you know. So I walk in, got a little sack, a little laundry sack, keep some slippers and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody got an orange on. So I walk in, it's like a little chaotic, you know, dudes talking, you know, loud, dudes trying to talk to somebody way on this side of the tier. Instead of walking to each other, they like, hey man, it's all you hear, bunch of noise, it's loud, real loud. So I feel dudes watching, I feel eyes on me, but I'm not trying to lock eyes with nobody and let them know that I know they're watching me. So I go back to where the bunk's at, and I asked the guy to find me a top bunk, because all the bottom bunks took. Clearly, that's the thing. I didn't know at the time, but, you know, you have to be accepted, respected, something like that to have a bottom bunk. You don't have to be no gangster, nothing like that. You just have to be respected, you know. So I had me a top bunk when I first went in there. Dude told me, man, that top bunk open. So I'm like, all right. So I climb up there, get in the top bunk. And the first thing I do, I lay back, look in the ceiling, and I'm thinking like, man, I know these dudes got something to work with in them, meaning like a knife or a shank, something. So I'm laying down, and I'm thinking to myself like, man, I ain't got nothing to work with. So I'm like very slick with it, you know, feeling up under my mattress, you know, trying to find something, you know, something I could stab somebody with if I got to. I find two old toothbrushes. So now I'm like, man, these ain't gonna do nothing. What I'm gonna do, brush nigga teeth to death? So I realized the wall behind me is concrete. So I'm like, I feel the wall. I'm like, oh, man, all right, cool. So I'm laying there. I go up under my arm, and I'm sitting there just hitting the concrete until I get them toothbrushes to a nice little point. 2 of them. So when I did that, I put them in my pocket. I felt a little relief. You know, if I get into it, at least I got something to, you know what I'm saying, something to fight with, you know, because ain't no guns in Paris. You know, it's just your hands and that shank. So I'm laying there. Don't forget, I smoke. I haven't smoked in like probably 30 hours now. I'm naked. I want some nicotine so bad. I'm not finna ask nobody for nothing. Because I don't know what they're gonna want back, you know? So, and like I said, the only thing I have to go off of is TV and stories I had heard when I was in the streets about the parish, you know? I know it's gangster in here, so I'm trying to stay on point. I'm not gonna say any names because I haven't had permission from nobody to use their name. I refuse to use anybody's name. True story, I'm not gonna use no names. So I had one cat walk up to me, slim dude. He said, "Hey man, you smoke?" I'm like, "Yeah, I smoke." Like, "Man, you want a cigarette? I know you been in the holding tank all, you know what I'm saying, all day, man. I know you nicking." I said, "Nah, I'm good." And he looked at me like, "Man, it ain't no, man, here, man, get a cigarette," or something. Like, "Nah, man, I'm good," you know. He like, "Man, dude, ain't nobody playing games with you, man. You know, if you want a cigarette, man, I'll give you a cigarette." And I'm like, he just kept on and on with the cigarette. So I'm like, all right. Be my first test. So I'm like, yeah, man, I'll take a cigarette. Yeah, I'll take one. But I'm telling you, man, I'm coming no games behind this cigarette, man. You know what I'm saying? You asked me for the cigarette, you begging me to take it. You know? So, all right, give me the cigarette. So I'm smoking a cigarette like, man. Yeah, play with me if you want. Yeah, play with me if you want. You know, on the inside, I'm like, yeah, play with me if you want. You know, but on the outside, I'm cool, you know. Smoking a cigarette. So he started talking to me like let's small talk, you know. Asked me where I'm from, you know. I'm telling him I'm originally from Monroe, but I moved to Baton Rouge. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I know you was kind of like tense at first, bro, but you know, man, it ain't like that in here, man. You know, that's TV shit. You know, it ain't like that, bro. Ain't nobody gonna mess with you, bro, unless you mess with somebody, man. You know what I'm saying? Just be you, you know." So I said, "I'm gonna be me, you know. That's all I can be, you know." Got them 2 toothbrushes in my pockets. Nice little point to them. Waiting on something. Gotta make an example out of somebody. Gotta let them know I ain't scary. I ain't a gangster. I ain't a killer. But I'm far from scary. I'm not gonna be a coward in here. So I was raised in the hood, you know. East side, Booker T. You know, I can get down. I ain't worried about that. So I'm laying there, so I finally get out the bunk because I got me something to work with. So I get down and walk around, you know, survey some stuff, you know, check my surroundings. You gotta see what these cats into, you know. So I'm looking around, you know. The news come on. So I'm standing like I'm standing in the doorway of one of the tiers. You got 2 tiers, you got 3, and you got 4. I'm in the doorway of 4 where I'm at. I'm just leaning against the doorway. And the TV, like, you know, in the day room, you got 2 TVs, one for 3 and one for 4, but both of them be on the same channel. And these dudes, it's mandatory, the news. That's mandatory. So they watching the news. I hate the news. But hey, this is all they watching, so I'm standing looking at TV. So the news come on. Boom! There go my face, big as cuff, sitting in the police car. So I noticed the guys watching the TV. Like I'm the guys. I'm behind the guys. They like watching TV, you know. Because the TV sit up, they look at the TV and my face pop up. So I see a lot of dudes like, hey, black, that's you? So all I could do is, yup. So they like, damn, you about your business out there, huh? I'm like, nah, it wasn't like that. I just got caught. Not finna put no false stripes on my back. Cause you got dudes do that when they go to jail, you know. Especially if they're on the news, you know. They feel like that's their certification, that's their proof that they was gangsters out there, you know. Nah, I'm not finna do that. Not finna exaggerate my charge or my lifestyle. Have you thinking I'm somebody to take down. No, I'm nobody. You know what I'm saying? Doing something to me ain't gonna help your street career at all. You know, in fact, you might lose some street career because, like I said, I'm nice with the hands. So that kind of like helped me though, for real though, because I wasn't on no, I was in there for a felony. It wasn't no weak charge, you know. It was a major charge, you know. You can get up to 99 years for it. So it matters what kind of charge you come in on, especially if it's a sex offense. See, if it's a sex offense, it's like anything dealing with a woman or a child, man, you're gonna get slaughtered the first day. If you're in on any kind of sex offense, the sergeant gonna bring you in with a newspaper. You green, you don't know no better. You just think he's delivering the newspaper and you at the same time. Nah. That ain't the case. And I didn't come in with a newspaper. So the sergeant gonna bring you in with a newspaper. Let me tell you this right quick. And he gonna put the newspaper on one of the tables in the day room. Everybody know what that means. Sex offense. So everybody gonna go to that newspaper. It's gonna be turned to your charge and everything. What you in there for. And when you look at it and see, if it's a sex offense, dude's gonna walk to your bunk, call you out that top bunk, ask you what size you wear. Straight up. Call them BBCs. Look like some old school Converse, but they BBCs. Ain't no Converse. They ask you what size you wear. And you like don't want to tell them, or you trying to figure out what's going on, like, man, you can fight in slippers or you can fight in these BBCs. There's no choice. They'll give you a chance to, you know what I'm saying, get right. But you're not going to win. Not for no sex offense. I don't care if it got to be 10 of them to slaughter you. You going to get slaughtered. And you're going to leave that till that day, blooded up, bust up. If you could walk out, they might leave you laying there. Might have to get you carried out. But that ain't my jacket, so I ain't coming no newspaper, so I wasn't worried about that. But I peeped it out as time went by. You know, that's what they do. So, as I'm watching the news, my little segment then went off, you know. We got a couple of dudes, you know, ask some questions, but I'm not trying to, you know, answer no questions. I'm trying to be, like, real quiet and low-key, because I know from experience, when you're quiet and low-key, people can't figure you out. You know, the ones coming there boasting, you know what I'm saying, loud, you know, yeah, you know, woo, 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 you know, with that hard macho mentality, I'm a gangster, you know, they get tested fast. And most of the time, that's all they was doing, talking. They get slaughtered in there, exposed. So I'm quiet, I'm laid back. But it's easy for me to do that because that's my nature. I've always been like that. So, the news is number one to watch on TV. It's mandatory. You ain't finna change that channel off the news. You're not finna change that. If you change that, you finna get slaughtered. You touch that TV in the news on. You know what the second most watched thing in the parish? The second most watched, I'm talking about mandatory. I'm talking about it's gonna be a slaughter if you touch this TV. Mess me up. Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless. Yes, the stories. I was dumbfounded. I was like, oh my God. All these so-called gangsters, street dudes, killers, robbers, jackers, big time dope dealers. I'm talking about they was locked in. But I told you, boy, that boy Victor a beast, boy. That boy Victor a dog, boy. That boy Victor a gangster, I'm telling you. I'm like, oh my God. Now, the third most watched thing is the stories. I mean, not the stories. The third most watched thing is sports. You got news number 1, the stories number 2, sports number 3. And then 4 is like, you know, a good movie or something like that. But I was just thrown off on how these dudes like really into Young and the Restless. I'm like, man, my mama watched this, man. You know what I'm saying? Females. You know what I'm saying? 2 weeks later, I'm locked in. I'm locked in, man. I mean, man, I know all the characters, man. I'm mad they prolonging certain of their stories. I want to see what's going to happen next. It's too short. You know, hey, it's not a female or a male thing. It's just, hey, something nice to watch when you ain't got nothing to do. And we don't have nothing to do, you know. But work out, fight, and eat. That's it, you know. But I wasn't trying to fight. I'm not a fighter. I will, but I'm not a fighter. So I started working out. But before I started working out, let me finish my first day. After the news, I go back, get on my top bunk. I'm laying there. I'm just chilling, you know, in my thoughts, like, you know, man, you really locked up. And I'm thinking about my mom and dad used to always tell me, you know, you get in trouble, you better not call this house. We ain't coming to get you. You know, that's scare tactic, you know. But I took it literally, so I didn't call nobody. I was just in there. Like, hey, I did that, I'm in there. You know, I ain't finna call for no help. Nothing like that. That's what I got preached to my whole life. Is, you know, when you get in trouble, don't call us. So that's what I did. Didn't call nobody. So I'm in there thinking about that. And I noticed they got some guys beneath me having Bible study.